We have another massive win for XRP. Plus, apparently, we were supposed to get a Santa rally, and that's not happening. We also have a $100,000 Ethereum prediction from Mr. Tommy Lee, and that's great because I need that to happen, but I need it now. I don't need it in 10 years from now. In addition to that, we actually have a lot of crypto policy happening right now over in DC in that aspect. And I know that's not fun for you guys. I know it's really, really boring, but really at the end of the day, we live in the US, okay? And the cool thing about the US as opposed to other countries is that we do have a say as to what happens with policy here, okay? You can reach out to your local government, to your senators, to Congress, to whomever, and we can respectfully demand change. That's a cool thing. Unfortunately, in America, we are just completely lazy, which is not good. We don't like that. But you do have the power to help shape policy now. Welcome back to the O Show, everything crypto every day. I'm Wendy O. Thank you so much for joining. And let's go ahead and get straight into the news. I hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend. I'm super excited for the weekend. Lo and I, we have a full jam-packed weekend. Hopefully get to see my little nephew on Saturday morning. Then we've got our photo shoot for our little family pictures. And then we're going to do some shopping at the mall. Gotta have a girls' day. Girls' Day. She wants to do pretzels. I'm with it. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started because there's a lot to cover today. First off, with XRP, congratulations to the XRP army again. You know, there's another story that we are going to cover in a bit, which is pretty funny. I want to say, I don't know if it was Arthur Hayes or who it was, but they basically came out and said that the only layer ones that will be around is going to be Solana and Ethereum. And I disagree with that. I really disagree with that because we have a lot of building happening within Ripple, and there's a lot of other layer ones. And I do think, as I said again, and I will continue to say, any cryptos that become crypto spot ETFs, those will be able to sustain. Crazy, right? And what I mean by sustain is I think that those will stick around. Those that are able to coordinate with institutions, coordinate with TradFi, coordinate with all the ivory towers, those ones will sustain. And the ones that do focus on like RWAs, AI and DeFi stuff like Hedera and whatnot. But I don't think Ripple's going anywhere. I think that I think Solana and Ethereum, those are great competitors. Like I would say if anything, like there's going to be a show off between those two, but I don't necessarily think that there's going to be all the layer ones are going away. Yeah, a lot of layer ones need to do better. They really need to evaluate their teams. They need to reevaluate their mission. They need to reevaluate what they're doing and how they're building because it's just a ghetto mess. It really is. A lot of projects promised a lot of things, but they weren't able to do so. We see so many, like the whole thing that happened with Farcaster. Like Farcaster is supposed to be this big social media network. And I knew right away because I've been pitched dozens and dozens and dozens of social media crypto Web3 social media networks. And I know 99% of them are not going to sustain because this is what I do for a living. I spend a lot of time on Facebook, on Instagram, on Threads, TikTok, YouTube, X, you name it, I'm there. Okay. And with that being said, if they're going to do a social media platform, it needs to work and it needs to work properly. And it needs to work just as good as any of the other social media platforms. Because if it's not, then it's not going to sustain. Like, why do you need to do 10 other things to work? So Farcaster went away and now they're just like a wallet. And when we talk about them just being a wallet, do we need another wallet? No, we don't. We really don't. We have so many other options. And with that being said, is you really need to look and create, products or services that people want to use. That's easy. And this is something I've said since I've first been in crypto, since like 2018-ish. And that is, if you create something in crypto and there's additional, like let's say, for example, you create a credit card. And there's additional steps to utilize that credit card as opposed to somebody just using their bank, but make it crypto. No one's going to use it. They don't care. There's no need to. That's why the exchanges are going to have a rude awakening once all the banking stuff is situated and they're able to custody for clients. They're able to allow for transactions and different types of investing. That part is going to be over for the crypto exchanges unless they become banks. Why? Because why would anybody want to transfer their bank? I don't want to transfer my bank. I've been with the same bank since I've been born, since I can open a bank account, since I've been 13 or 14 years old and I got my first job. Why do I want to change my bank? So if you're not so layer ones that are not actually building something that people can use that is seamless, they're going to go away. So there's that. Now let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to our channel members. And then we got to give the congratulations to the XRP army. For some reason, YouTube has been weird. but that's fine. It's always weird. Good morning to Lawrence. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Good morning to Dale, to Mike, to Gumby, to Dale again, to John Legend, to Mr. R, Sparkwater, Lawrence again. Yep, 21 shares, Lawrence. He got it. Assets under management, 8 billion. Good morning, gorgeous Alexandra. Hope you're having a great day. Who else? I just don't want to miss anyone. To Mr. Guzman, thank you for being here. Should Ripple buy Solana? That doesn't make sense. Why would they? I don't think that's even an option. Again, we don't have an announcement from Ripple right now, or Solana or Ripple, because there are breakpoints going on if there's going to be any type of partnership or collaboration. There probably will be one day as far as cross-chain goes. Why wouldn't there? That type of stuff. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the news because there's a lot to cover. So first and foremost, another win for XRP. I love it. And we talked about this yesterday. It's called Toxer, which is kind of like Toxicos. That's the first thing I think of. But 21 Shares officially launched his new XRP ETF on the CBOE exchange. And the ticker is Toxer. So if this is something you guys are interested, have fun with it. I know a lot of you guys, especially the Tiki-Takis, they were asking about it. We love that for them. But we're banned on TikTok right now for streaming. That's just what happens. Also, Gemini. Gemini announced they're adding support for rlusd on the XRPL, bringing near instant settlement and lower fees. Smart move by them. People that hold XRP are going to want to use rlusd, and they will continue to do so. It just is what it is. Smart move by them. Ripple unleashes XRP Ledger v3.0. What is this? It's new tech. So basically, it includes core improvements to stability, performance, and developer capabilities, and the upgrades will lay the groundwork for native DeFi and lending features. Ripple, one of the things that Ripple really hasn't focused on, if you don't like ads, you can use Brave Browser. Brave is up there. Brave's up there. It's down below. If you don't like those, you can use Brave Browser. It's a wonderful browser. You should check it out. DeFi, that's one of the things that that is one of the things that Ripple really hasn't spent a lot of time on, but I think it's going to be probably easy for them to get situated in that. But DeFi is going to be needed to essentially continue that integration with traditional finance. Why not? And will it really be DeFi? Now, Ethereum fees just hit a 7-year low as it finally outperforms Bitcoin. One hidden data point proves rally is sustainable. So I want to talk about this. So I use Ethereum a lot because I like it. I'm a boomer. And this actually coincides with what I said earlier on the show. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, set alert. If you're watching on X, share that. But this is what kind of this coincides to what I've been talking about. And that is that once you start to use something and you get used to it, you don't really want to change. Like, I will still use Solana, but I like using Ethereum because I've been using it so long. But I'll still use Solana, but not as much. And that just goes to show that people that have been using Ethereum for a long time, they want to stay on Ethereum. If people have been using whatever chain, they want to stay on it. And that's just how the cookie crumbles, honey. But I know Ethereum had their upgrade, which was good. We'll see. I'll send some transactions in a month or so, and I'll see if how those work as far as fees go. I mean, XRP is like next to nothing. Solana is next to nothing. And Ethereum really needed to focus on upgrading the base layer instead of layer 2s for quite some time. But according to this article, they're saying Ethereum price action driven mostly by spot buying and major whale accumulation, not leverage, which is good because it stabilizes price. And mainnet fees just hit a 7-year low due to layer 2 migration. Creates a revenue paradox, but institutions are still heavily accumulating Ethereum. And the reason why they're heavily accumulating Ethereum is because it's kind of, that's what they like. It's Wall Street's chosen one right now. Why? I don't know, but it is. It is. And there's also this little clippy clip of Mr. Tommy Lee on X over here. I call him Tommy Lee because he needs to do some sort of degenish stuff and get things moving, all right? So basically, where is it? Tommy Lee predicts, I don't want to listen to all this because it's a lot, but he kind of just predicts like $100,000 Ethereum. He doesn't say when it's going to happen. But again, my base case for Ethereum is $10,000. And that's what I'm waiting for. And I personally cannot wait for it. It's going to be very exciting because I'm going to be very happy. We love to see it. Also, too, let's talk about the current state of what happened with the Fed yesterday, because again, there's a lot of back and forth with that. Are they going to lower interest rates? Are they going to keep them unchanged? Like, what's kind of going on here? We don't know. We're just here. Sorry, my nose is itchy. My nose is a little bit itchy over here. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. nose is itching. I feel like I'm going to sneeze, and I don't want to spit it out without getting my stuff done. Okay. So basically, the summary of Fed Chair Powell's comments: the Fed cuts rates by 25 BPS. That's it. Pretty much it, Pretty much it. Is that exciting? No. Hassett said they were going to cut rates by 50 BPS, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. It doesn't. But basically, inflation in the U.S. remains somewhat elevated. Yeah, we know. We're very much aware. Interest rates now are in a plausible range of neutral. GDP growth forecast for 2026 has been revised up. It's going to be horrible. It really is, because there's a lot of jobs that are gone. And there's a lot of issues regarding on that, or reason why. Reading on inflations are higher as goods inflation has picked up. It's been picked up since after the Panorama. Okay, please. Okay. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the Federal Reserve, because these are the statements regarding reserve management purchase operations. These are other things that are discussed in the meetings. Okay. So the New York Fed will soon begin reserve management purchases. This is the Fed's new term for Treasury bill buying, which is similar to quantitative easing. First purchase start December 10th, and initial RMPs will total around $40 billion in T-bills. Purchase size will be adjusted based on reserve demand projections and market conditions. The Fed is doing this to maintain ample reserves, manage season fluctuations, and ensure enough liquidity into the financial system. Okay, so they're talking, and this is the thing that's frustrating me. So they're talking about reserves to the financial system. But what about the people? I know the financial systems really kind of do a lot in managing things, but what about the people? What about the people paying taxes? And this is why we Bitcoin. This is why we crypto. Also, too, I want to say that Jack Mahler's company, they put maybe I'm incorrect about this, but they just put a Satoshi little statue thing at NYSE, which is funny. It's ironic. And I was actually talking to a couple friends this morning about it, really saying, it's so funny. Like, there's a bunch of people in crypto or Bitcoin that did incredibly well. They created these really successful companies, which is great. I'm happy that they're able to make money. And now they're like, doing shoulders and mixing shoulders and whatnot with the other ivory towers. And they kind of forgot about retail or where they came from. Well, a lot of them came from money. They won't let you know that, though. And I've always thought that was very interesting. Like, it's cool to see that happen. But at the same time, what about retail? Because that's what Bitcoin is really created for. I don't know. Just a bimbo on the internet. Okay. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Now, let's take a look at the market here. And if you guys want to trade with me, that would be wonderful. That'd be fantastical. Because why not? Why wouldn't you? Support me, use my ref links, all those types of things. And again, we are on iTrust. And if you guys are interested in trading with me on iTrust, we've got the QR code up there and the one down there. So those of you on X can go ahead and see it. But if you guys don't know what iTrust does, we're partner with them for the O Show, everything crypto, every single day. And we are going to be talking about 401ks in a little bit, because apparently they're really pushing that executive order to go through, which is important, because if you have a 401k, crypto. But iTrustCapital allows you to easily roll over your existing retirement fund into a crypto IRA where you can trade precious metals and crypto 24/7. And they offer staking too. That might be of interest to some of you. People are choosing iTrust to avoid high or hidden fees often found in traditional plans. And rolling over into an IRA with trust allows you to consolidate multiple old funds into one account. As always talk to your CPA. And if you sign up with my link, you get $100. I actually have an SEP account. The reason why I do is because you can get tax benefits with that, and the way that works. And again, if you need a CPA, contact Scott. But the way that it works for me is that instead of paying the government, let's say $100,000, I can pay the government $40,000 and take $60,000, put it in an SEP, and that adds as like a tax benefit or a tax shield, kind of sort of legally. And then I get that after I retire. But you do need to chat with your CPA about that. So it's good stuff. SEPs are cool vehicles, but each person's is different. Fortunately, Knight is down. The privacy side coin, airdrop coin for Cardano, that's down a little bit. Market's looking a little bit bearish. Ethereum is actually outperforming Bitcoin yesterday. Did incredible on that. Incredible. Now, with that being said, Ethereum hit a high of about 3,300 and are currently retesting the EMA 9 at about 3158 over here. So a little bit sluggish with the market. Bitcoin is also a little bit sluggish. We were not able to sustain support on the EMA 20 at 91,000. So we got a swing local at 89,000, whatnot. And generally when you have these sharp upward patterns like this, like a ramp, generally indicates a reversal, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now. We're holding on to support pretty well. We do have $86,000, but we do need that break above. And if we can just consolidate between 94 to 86,000 end of the year, that'd be great. Best case scenario, unless we pump like crazy. Solana dropped despite some of the bullish news. They've announced something with Coinbase, which I'll talk about in a second. So we're retesting 128. We got a swing low down there. XRP is still in its little, it's kind of, it's in a consolidation downtrend. That's what I'm saying. We'll probably hit 179 again unless we get a reversal. Chainlink is at 1372. And there was an announcement with them. I want to say, I think it's Coinbase or Gemini. I forget who it is, but they're using Chainlink as the Oracle, as the end all be all Oracle, which of course it is because there's not a whole lot of competition. And ADA is also dropping as well at about 41 cents. Hedera is also dropping. Looks like it's going to hit 12 cents. So price action isn't great right now, but we continue to move forward. Now let's listen to what Mr. Arthur Hayes said. All right. We'll actually listen to this whole entire clip. Why? Because I said so and it's my show. It is my show over here. So we'll do the playback speed fast because I'm fast. I don't have time. But he's basically saying everything except for Ethereum and Solana as far as layer ones will go to zero. Almost all of their layer ones will go to zero. I want to hear his take. And shout out to Altcoin Daily.
And so you're going to see large banks start doing crypto and Web3 using a public blockchain. I think the public blockchain will be Ethereum. And that's what is going to power the sort of next move higher in Ethereum. This is something that Tom Lee talks a lot about, the CEO of BitMine. I really subscribe to that thesis. And that's what I think is going to drive the Ethereum resurgence of the price. I mean, there are people already using it now. They might build an L2 that has some sort of privacy features, or there'll be some sort of like whitelisted CD file, that nonsense that people talk about. But then the substrate, the security layer is still Ethereum.
Do you think Solana has crossed the chasm? And
so obviously Solana has done very well. I think the Solana move from 7 to 300 was driven by meme coins activity relative to what it was in sort of like 2023 and 2024. Solana needs a new trick. I don't know what that new trick is, but again, it's the number 2 largest L1. I think they'll find something. Will it be enough to power price performance greater than Ethereum? I don't think so. But I think pretty much every other L1 besides Ethereum or Solana is a zero, and they're not going to do very well.
I like the take. I do like the take, especially about Solana, because Solana got really, really, really popular again because of meme coins. Because before it was because of SBF and FTX, and then because of meme coins, and that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form, and it's a great competitor against Ethereum. But right now, the institutions are interested in Ethereum, and the difference between Ripple and XRP and that entire ecosystem is going to be that Ripple's like essentially their own entity as far as going to be their own bank and whatnot. That's my personal opinion. The layer ones I think that will sustain are ones that have crypto spot ETFs and that continue to create bridges and partnerships and relationships with TradFi, and in addition to actual products and services. And that's something VeChain is actively doing as well. So there's that. Shout out to Lawrence for the $10 super chat. Pretzels for Wendy and Low. I've never had one in my life. Oh my God. Lawrence, you need to go get a pretzel. They're so good. They're so bad for you, but they're so good. So good. My favorite. I love pretzels. I can eat them all day long. Last night, Lo and I had some mozzarella sticks as a late night snack. I actually ate expired shrimp and mozzarella sticks that I had in the freezer. But that's okay. We're okay. Now, State Street and Galaxy to launch tokenized liquidity fund on Solana in 2026. The fund will run on Solana and launch, use PiUSD, which is PayPal's native stablecoin. And also, too, I like this. Ondo Finance committed about $200 million to seed the tokenized liquidity fund, which will later expand to other chains. Love that for them. Absolutely love that for them. Hold on a second. This is another good example of why Solana and Ethereum are the top layer ones, in my personal opinion. I love that they're seeding the fund. I hate that they use that word term, but with 200 million. So again, Ondo is another solid one that you probably should be paying attention to. Now, Grayscale announced this. Their bittensor trust hits public markets days before the halvening. The halvening set on December 14th, which is poised to increase the scarcity of TAO by reducing the token emissions distributed among network participants. Fantastic. We'd love to see it. Now, Coinbase, this is what I was talking about. Yeah, it was Coinbase. So Coinbase selects Chainlink CCIP as the exclusive bridge infrastructure to supercharge Coinbase wrapped asset growth. Wrapped asset growth. What is that? Wrapped asset growth. All these different things over here, the products that they have you can use in the network. And it's a combined market cap of $7 billion. So it's like CBB, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, LTC, shout out to Litecoin, ADA, XRP, all of it. So makes sense why they would pick Chainlink, and that's another one of my top holdings is Chainlink because they have their hands in everyone's cookie jar, not in that way. Some analysts came out and said that the Santa rally is over because of the Fed. The Fed signaled only one rate cut in 2026, while announced $40 billion in T-bill purchases over the next month to maintain ample reserves. This is the thing. Once Powell's gone, which he's going to be gone. Ooh, I like cheddar sauce too. I'm hungry. You guys stop. I'm hungry. Don't be rude. I only had a couple pieces of pineapple this morning and some carrots. But I think once Powell's gone, we'll see more interest rates cut. And I want to say, was it Pomp or was it Trump? Who was it? They were basically saying that we need rates under 3%. Who talks like he's on that? Not me. Tokenized gold and silver outperform Bitcoin as capital rotates to on-chain safe havens. This is always funny to me. Like tokenized gold, PAXG, and silver, CAG, KAG, hit repeated all-time highs in 2025 while Bitcoin turned negative for the year. Investors rotate into tokenized metals as a safe haven play. I mean, I get it, but it's still like, I mean, it's just a better way to trade metals. Anything that's tokenized. Bitcoin will catch up. It's fine. I'm not personally worried about it. All right, now we got to get into the unsexy stuff, but I need you guys to stick around. It's incredibly important. So, really quickly, I forgot this. NVIDIA CEO, he talked about Bitcoin, and this did not pump. Didn't pump Bitcoin. So what's going on? What's going on? So apparently Bitcoin is taking high excess energy, storing it into a new form, which is called currency. And I love that. And he's, 4.46 trillion, NVIDIA, AI, mining, all these things. He says you take that currency whenever you like. So you took energy from one place and now you've transported it everywhere. And the fact that they're sitting here and talking about Bitcoin in such a bullish manner is important for the future. Why? Why isn't it? They're not saying anything negative about it. So we love to see that. Now, let's get through all the crypto market legislational stuff. That's not sexy, but y'all need to hear it over here. Okay. Hold on, I'm all over the place right now. So, Democrats, they're saying they've accepted major portions of the GOP's Responsible Financial Innovation crypto bill text. The counteroffer says GOP's December 4th proposal still misses key principles Democrats want included. They're pushing for changes on token classification, illicit finance rules, ethics requirements, and stablecoin yield restrictions from the Genius Act. The reason why this is so important and so annoying is because this party claims to be like for the people, by the people. And they're the ones that are signing all these that are causing issues for retail. And that's problematic. Why can't retail earn? I mean, who from the banks are paying them? It's okay to accept money. Just be clear. Why is my hair all cuckoo in the back? Anyways, if you ever see me in public and you see like this in the back of the head, that's me. But the issue is, we know, I have a funny story to tell y'all from the thrift store last night. But we all know that crypto is being vertically integrated to traditional finance. They're essentially going to wipe everything out and restart with the digital system, tracking and whatnot. So why wouldn't you want to give people yield on stablecoins? Well, I actually heard someone, I think it was under the news desk. We follow each other on TikTok, but they were basically saying that it's going to kind of cause issues and like force people to, it's going to cause issues with the US dollar, and it's predatory. It's not predatory. This is actually good. Okay, so everybody does deserve to earn. Basically, what they were saying is that I don't think they understand that you will be able to earn yield on your stablecoins at the bank the same way you would on the in your savings account, but more. So they don't understand that, which is really weird. So these people shouldn't be making rules about us, but I digress. Next on the docket over here, we got some more stuff, policy stuff. So senators are holding a bipartisan meeting to discuss crypto market structure. Industry representatives also meeting at the White House. Later, CEOs from Bank of America, Citi, Wells Fargo will meet with the senators, and they want to talk about curbing interest payments by affiliates of stablecoin issuers and other regulatory assets, which is why we don't have the Clarity Act is not really being discussed right now. It's more so the Genius Act, because that undermines the US dollar and people are pissed off about it because it's impacting their bottom line. And over here, Miss Warren, we're not going to accept, this is from Miss Anna Paul Luna. We're not going to accept your 5-year ban on CBDCs. We want it to be permanent. And we'll go to war over it. The entire country should know that it was Warren that was responsible for stripping out the anti-CBDC legislation in the NDAA, and their very low energy Senate Republicans allowed her to do it. Good for her for saying this. So basically what this means is that, Warren, because Trump was like, we're not going to do CBDCs, which that's fake. That's completely fake. That's not how that works. Okay. So basically, it's fake. CBDCs are happening, okay? But now Elizabeth Warren is in a little bit of hot water, primarily because she only wants a 5-year ban on a CBDC. So keep it consistent. So Trump's the problem when again, there's going to be a CBDC regardless of what Trump says. Now the issue at hand here is, why would Warren only ask for a 5-year ban on CBDCs instead of a complete ban on CBDCs? It's not mathing. Maybe she's going to retire in the next couple of years. And so when everything gets done, she just collects a paycheck because they're like, hey, you know what? Vote on this now, and then we'll pay you X, Y, and Z later. To me, that's what's happening. Regardless, we are getting a CBDC, but we still want to see them, pretend to fight about it. So that's kind of what's going on. I've got to get going. And then, I will see you guys at 2 p.m. PT. Make sure to watch my second media pieces. Those are going to be important for you. And then I've got the news wrap up at 6 p.m. PT, but I have to go. I got stuff to do. And I'm going to get some steak and eggs. Going to go make some for myself. Sending you guys love and light. And I will be back tomorrow. Bye, babies.